It's been so beautiful. So beautiful.
Welcome to episode 10 of the Court Electric Player's Guide. This episode's going to be a little bit of a summary. I think 9 episodes later, we've learned a lot about us and our bodies and how to run a franchise in the Court Electric system. Now, this 10th episode is kind of going to be a summary, distilling sort of everything, maybe capture anything else that didn't fit into another neat category. We're going to look through the flowchart of the Court electric system that I created. So if there's one episode that the returning owners, I think, should really watch, it's going to be this episode here, because this is going to summarize in bit ways everything else that happened in the previous 9 episodes. I certainly think it's probably valuable for everybody to listen to all of these to really get the system down, and hopefully, as long as I don't go crazy yet again and make more rules changes from year to year, these YouTube videos will be a document through time to explain in the best way the system and how it's going to work. This year is obviously a little bit of an exception because we've got the expansion draft, but let's get right to it. So we obviously did the lottery. Again, we had the lottery. That's a YouTube video up there if you want to see how that worked. Similar to the NBA lottery, where teams have a chance that did not make the playoffs, had a chance to win that lottery to be able to have a different pick. So I jumped ahead in the lottery via Smoking is Cool, of course, because I won the lottery, then traded that pick along. But in any case, then we had the rookie draft, which we are going through, finishing up right now. First rounders have already all been selected. They have their salaries by the salary chart. If we look in the Court Electric program under contract values, of course, we can look up the various rookie salaries there by looking at your specific year. This I haven't actually updated with expansion yet, so it doesn't have an 11 and 12. Though on the page on the rule book, I actually have updated that already. If scintillating video here as we go up there, I have too many programs open right now. Computer's breaking down. But anyway, we've got the different contracts there, including those qualifying offers, the whole value. So we've got the rookie draft. Second round is happening right now. Of course, second rounders get only $500,000, 2-year deals that go from $500,000 to $1 million. You can, of course, pass, as we've seen a couple teams do. Also, what's happening right now is we have expansion protection. So every team is emailing me with their 8 players. Just got one here from Studebakers, for example, that is what players you're going to be protecting in the expansion draft. You can protect up to 8 of them, whether they have a contract, like a rookie or a regular player vet with a contract, or they can just be simply RFAs now, but you can choose those 8. Now, the 2 expansion teams, Drunk, Fat, and Stupid, and the Scuba Dank will be able to pick their various players from the list of non-protected players, and they will draft in order 1 player from each team. So each expansion team will effectively take 5 players, and so in total, 1 player from each team will be taken. Of course, 1 player from each team is the maximum. Once one of your players gets taken in the expansion draft, the rest of your team is protected. So if those are players that simply are RFAs, restricted free agents, the expansion team could choose to actually keep those players, or it could just let them go, just like anybody's going to let most of their RFAs go. So if one of the expansion teams just wants to have tons of cap space, they could simply just take 5 dudes that are all RFAs, doesn't matter who they are really, and just simply take those players away. But if they want to have players with contracts, they can take rookies or contracted players as are available. So that expansion draft will happen. We're going to try to do it, if we could do it over the phone or in some way, to happen once the protection happens. Then we have the franchise anointing. There's going to be very few people that this is really going to apply to anymore, but next year it's going to be a huge deal because all the third year, the contracts are up for all the superstars in the league. LeBron James, Derrick Rose, all those different guys are all going to be up in terms of their franchise status, so there's going to be a lot of re-announcing of that. Big note, keep in mind, next year franchise contracts are going up to $25 million want. So they're going up by $5 million want, so those salaries are increasing. So franchise players are going to be pricier to keep. So if any teams, maybe the expansion teams might want to do this. There's another team or two out there, maybe Rockafire or someone else, Vlade, that may have some ideas of wanting to protect a guy from restricted free agency, so they'll annoy to franchise. Otherwise, that might go through without anything. Then we're going to have restricted free agency, so one team at a time, starting with the worst team going to the best team one at a time. Each team will bid on one restricted free agent / qualifying offer guy, those rookies, or those guys that are off their rookie contracts. And those teams can choose to match those if they want to match them. If they match, they have to keep that player. If they let that player go, the signing team has to keep that player. Again, as a clarification, even if you're over the cap, even if you already have 5 vets, 6 vets, 7 vets, you can participate in restricted free agency. You can bid on a guy. It just means that before keepers are announced, you're going to have to deal with that, which may mean amnestying a guy or doing something. You can match a guy. Even if you're already at the 5-player limit or more, you can still match on one of your players. You won't be able to keep more than 5 vets. That's still a hard rule that you cannot keep more than 5 vets, but you can go over the half cap if by matching that's what brought you over the cap. So you are able to match your guy and go over the cap because of that. So that's going to go through that process, and we'll hopefully do that as soon as possible. And then keepers will, of course, be announced. That half cap limit plus the 5 players, though your 5 vets or less cannot add up to more than $29.3 million. Close, basically. And then you can keep any number of rookies. Those only count for the full cap. It takes away from your total auction money that you have to bid and free agency during the waiver wire during the season. But rookies do not take up that half cap number. Then we'll get ready for the auction. I'll verify that everyone's teams are all ready. Then on October 28th, online, we will be nominating players. We'll go in order, nominating players through the website. I actually haven't seen the basketball's online auction feature, so exactly how it works, though I know it generally. And it's fairly decent. What we're going to have to do is everyone's going to have to bid want values, so assume that they're 1-year deals and adjust your cap as necessary. I'll be kind of dynamically looking at cap, but we'll be assuming people are going to assign 1-year deals, so the want value will actually be their next year's salary, but then later on after the auction, during or after the auction, you can assign the contract length. I know during previous seasons when we're all together, we've been assigning the contract length when you win the player, but because it's online, that may be a little more difficult. So we're going to assume 1-year deals, keep track of the cap that way, but then later on you can adjust that if you do want to give a guy a multi-year deal. So each team will go through and nominate a guy, bid a guy, and then whoever wins him, we're going to, it'll dynamically keep track of that. I'll keep track of that values as well. We can do a Skype call. I've got a Skype phone number, or we can do a video chat. We'll do something that if people want to be truly online with us communicating, that's great, but it will be online through the Sportsline website for those of you that just want to do that. And then we'll repeat until every team has 15 players. That's a typo there. 12 players. No, everyone will have 15 players to end, considering that most teams are going to keep 5 players, maybe have 2, 3, 4 rookies. Most teams are going to make sure everyone finishes up. Again, we'll make sure that before the season starts, so actually probably before the end of that call, because the season starting the next day, we're going to need the contract lengths to be assigned. And because we're doing it through Sportsline, the one good thing is I don't actually have to put in the players because the auction will do that. So we should all have 15 players at the end of that auction, and then you'll have to do your lineup. You're going to want to do the lineup when it's complete, because the next day the NBA is starting. So we're going to maybe walk you through that. So that is the entire process. We're already on this expansion protection. We should do the draft. Hopefully we can do it this week by getting new guys, BNS, together to be able to do that. Anointing franchise shouldn't be a big deal at all. So hopefully before the end of this week, we'll actually be able to start to do the restricted free agency. So there's only 12 steps there. That's going to be fairly quick. We can do the keepers, be ready for the auction. We still have 2 weeks to go, so I'm feeling pretty good about the process now. the draft is taking less time than I thought. But watch these videos. If you have questions, I know this is a confusing league. I'm confused myself sometimes. It's bigger than all of us. It's bigger than me, the Court Electric. But I think we've got it going down now pretty well. Hopefully these 10 videos have given you the framework that the only questions we have now are maybe real nitty-gritty little ones. And we've got the framework to make this thing happen. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching to all these videos. We love you.